We can do the minutes and do the other stuff. Okay. All right, let's get started. We will call the agenda session from Wednesday, January 9th, 2013 to order. It's the first day of the legislative session, which we hope brings swift confirmation. We can all,
Any fifth commission?
we can all hope.
Like the fifth Beatle. We're looking for the fifth
Please,
Beatle.
let's get it.
All right, our first item for business are the minutes for Thursday, January 3rd, 2013. Are there any questions or changes to the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes for Thursday, January 3rd, 2013, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those minutes are approved. I should mention we are going to have a closed session today, so we'll do that at the end. Tariff and new orders. GA 2013-0270, Southern Union Company. Order granting certificate of convenience and necessity. Are there any questions or comments on the order? Hearing none. All those in favor, the order granting certificate of convenience and necessity, file number GA 2013-0270, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The order is approved. All right, Judge Jordan, why don't you come on up? We have file number ER 2012-0174 and 0175. This is Kansas City Power and Light and GMO. You circulated a red line version yesterday with some changes, and I think there were some additional changes this morning. But the ones this morning were of a non-substantive
That's correct.
matter. And I'll make sure, because I know somebody may want to speak on this. So this is the rate case order. It's going to be, in its final, it'll be formatted a little differently. We'll have a standard cover page on it like we normally do. We should have them circulated here. But if I know if anybody has any changes or want to talk about the changes they suggested to the draft order, we can do that now. But I think from a substantive standpoint, it was all nothing else changed. So,
Correct.
Commissioner Jeremy.
I don't have anything. First of all, I want to commend Judge Jordan. He ran a good hearing. I think we developed a good record in the case for a decision. Looking at the order as a whole, taking all the issues under consideration together, I think this again is a very reasonable order, well supported by the evidence in the record. So I'm fine with the changes, and I support the order.
All right, Commissioner Kemp.
Just thanks for your hard work, and thanks to all the parties for the hard work that they did in the hearing process and the post-briefing process. I think we did a great job in coming to a consensus decision, so I'm forward to voting in favor of the order.
Echo what they said about your stellar work, and I support the order with no substantive changes. I guess like on the first page though, where it has Commission estimates the applicants are authorized to increase the revenue they collect from Missouri customers by approximately. Is that a number you?
I ran some numbers with the latest data. This is the best I could come up with. This is not a substantive matter, it's just an estimate for public information purposes, and that also comes with my mathematical limitations.
And being relatively new to this, is this a figure that is filled in, obviously before the
This number will be the number that he just passed around will be filled into the report order, but it is also an estimate. It is not The actual tariffs and the actual rest of the report and order will determine what the specific number is.
Yeah.
But these numbers they just handed out will be by the time that when this is officially issued will be in the
Correct.
Okay,
order.
gotcha. Okay, that sounds good.
And I want to thank a couple people. One, I want to thank Judge Jordan for his work on this. This is he's had other rate cases before, but this is the one that has gone to. This is the first written report and order of this magnitude, and we appreciate his work. I want to thank the other commissioners. I thought that the manner in which people dealt with disagreements and differences on issues was done, again, incredibly civilly and in a thoughtful manner, and I appreciate that very much. And I think to piggyback onto the discussion that we had last week, Commissioner Jarrett made a point about the actual capital structure. I thought it was an incredibly well-reasoned point, and that's where we ended up actually in the report and order. And so I appreciate that input, and I think that we got good consensus from everybody. But it got in the report and order because the commissioners went back and took a look at the record and remembered their recollection and really reviewed it. It was not a change simply to make a change. It was a thoughtful one that folks went back and looked at it. And I think the decision making in this, both in this case and the Ameren case, I have been incredibly impressed with the preparation and the thoughtfulness into which people have brought to it, even with the disagreements. The disagreements were not nonsensical. They were reasoned and thoughtful, and I think that's a great way to kind of end this parade of rate cases that we've had. I think people have done it very nicely. I also want to thank the parties. We have again included in this some really important energy efficiency steps that all the parties came together and agreed upon. And I think we are beginning to see, we saw it in the Ameren order, and we'll see it in the Kansas City Power Line and the GMO cases, a real different way of looking at the way people can control their own energy usage and really empowering the consumer to save both dollars as well as energy. And both of those are kind of equally important as we're entering into this new environment. And when we have to make decisions based on what we're going to do, how we're going to generate electricity, based on everything that's out there, this is going to at least be the beginning of people having the tools in order to do that. So I want to commend all the parties for agreeing to that and putting that in. And throughout this process, I think all the parties conducted themselves very well. So we appreciate that. To anybody that's listening, there will be a press release once we can kind of figure out where all the numbers are, which will give people specifics, and that will come out shortly. Because there were some changes to the actual order as of this morning, I am going to ask for a vote on the report order as amended. And then that will be the final one. That will incorporate any of the changes that were done in a red line version. So. All those in favor of the report and order in files number ER 2012-0174 and 0175 as amended, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That order is approved 4-0 as amended. Thanks very much, Judge. Appreciate your help.
Thank you.
All right. Let's move on to EE 2013-0125, order approving net metering tariffs. These are revised net metering tariffs, which will cause KCP&L and GMO to come into the company's to compliance with the Commission's recently revised net metering regulations. So, are there any questions or comments on the order? All those in favor of the order approving net metering tariffs in file number EE 2013-0125, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That order is approved. I'm going to call up these two together. ER 2013-0311 and 2013-0310. These are regarding Ameren's fuel adjustment clause, the adjustment to the fuel adjustment clause. Staff has reviewed the submissions and recommends approval. Are there any questions or comments on the order? Hearing none, we will vote on these separately. All those in favor of the order regarding fuel adjustment clause tariff in ER 2013-0310, please signify by saying aye.
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 That order is approved. All those in favor of the order resolving annual fuel adjustment clause true-up and file number ER 2013-0311, please signify by saying aye.
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 That order is approved. All right. Let's go to, I think Adam was going to call in for the MISO stuff, so if anybody's listening or if Adam's listening, you can call in and we'll start it. But we'll go to publications list. First, we will go to, for November of 2012. Did anybody have anything they wanted to add or delete from the publications list for November? I think the only thing that we're publishing is the VIA filing. Kansas City County Line. All right.
When does it actually get published? 'Cause we're not doing hard copies anymore, right?
No, we're still doing hard copies.
We have to.
We have
The
to.
legislation did
Oh, that's
pass.
The next volume will be coming out at the end of this month, and it takes us up through 2009. So we're getting closer. This will be about the fourth volume we've done in the last 4 months now.
And we are moving towards electronic publication without hard copies. We're working on trying to get that
I
done.
don't mind it. I gotta get my dissents dated soon.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You got a couple minutes. It's okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do this. Just all those in favor of the publications list for November 2012, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, that's approved. Adam,
Yes.
how are you? Hold on one second. We're going to go through the publications list for December, and then we'll get to the MISO comments, okay?
Thank you.
All right, publications list for December 2012. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Are there any additions or subtractions? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of approving the publication list for December 2012, please signify by saying aye.
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 Publications list are approved.
Very good.
So we get paid.
Yay.
All right, Adam. We will move now to the potential MISO comments and Entergy waiver issue. Why don't you tee this up and we'll take it from there.
Okay, first of all, good morning and thank you for having me by telephone. This is a very fluid issue. First of all, let me say we had when I say we, I mean Lear and myself and a staffer from the Michigan Commission spent an hour on the phone yesterday with MISO to try to understand this a little bit better. So what the comments might ultimately say may be a little bit different than kind of what is in the summary. But let me just tee this up very briefly. MISO back in 2011 filed a waiver to kind of have Entergy not pay for some of the multi-value projects that have been previously approved when Entergy joined the footprint, unless a very stringent cost-benefit test was met, where if a future MVP portfolio could be identified and Entergy had a positive benefit-cost ratio for that whole group of projects, then Entergy would start paying for those costs on a phase-in period. The Missouri Commission filed some comments about that waiver because it was kind of a situation where we had had discussions with MISO staff over how some other projects would be treated in terms of what benefits would be used to justify the projects. And what the Missouri Commission ultimately ended up saying is that for an economically based market efficiency project, if Entergy is not paying for the project, don't use Entergy benefits to justify the project. Seems like a fairly good way to say beneficiary pays. So FERC agreed with us and kicked it back to MISO for a compliance filing on this and a wide number of issues. So MISO made a compliance filing back in December and also made a request for clarification or reconsideration to kind of try to lay out where the benefits or what benefits should be used when for multi-value project portfolios in kind of a 5-year transition period where Entergy is not really going to be paying for any projects in the MISO Classic region. And I read this and I talked about it with one of my one of my colleagues in Michigan and a few other people, and then had a series of email exchanges that we went ahead and included in the agenda item just in case any of you all wanted to get into the weeds. And it's just a very confusing issue because, first of all, the waiver tariff language is very confusing to begin with, and the motion for reconsideration, unfortunately, really doesn't help. So after the phone call, I kind of end up at two positions of what to possibly file in comments. Number one, just to make sure that if Entergy is not paying for a portfolio, that Entergy benefits aren't being used to justify that portfolio. And number two, to kind of say, we had discussions with MISO staff, and here's what they think it means, and just to make sure that FERC understands that, that's what it means. I think it's just an example of a filing that MISO made that could have been a lot more clear, and that I think we would benefit from just kind of going to FERC and saying, look, FERC, here's what MISO thinks it means. We want to make sure this is what you think it means.
Is that what MISO thinks it means? Is that what they think it means?
Well, they think it means things very similar to that. Yeah, and I think there just might be one other side issue, which would be the only other thing I would tee up. But the way MISO explained it to us on this call, where they sent us a diagram very nicely, like when they say it, what they say seems to be fairly equitable. However, when I read the motion for clarification, they use some lawyer language that just it's like the lawyer language, for example, says that things should be planned with both regions taken into account. And what MISO says that language means is, that means you're going to use the entire footprint benefits to justify a project. And so my question to MISO is, well, why don't you just say that? Why do you have to use this lawyer language?
You're going to use the entire footprint's benefits to justify projects. And thank you. Let me just jump in here because I see that the way that this thing is written is confusing. There's a planning area 1, there's a planning area 2, and then you've got MVP portfolios subscript 1 and MVP portfolio subscript 2, and then you've got the combined portfolio, which is MVP portfolio 1 and 2. Is it so? The portfolio 1 are those MVPs that are planned exclusively for what they call planning area 1, which is legacy. I call it legacy MISO. It's the existing footprint. Planning area 2 is the Entergy footprint. So MVP, is that right?
So far, yes. Then
all right. So planning area. So MVP portfolio 1 is only to include classic legacy MISO.
That's right.
MVPs, and will only have that footprint's benefits used to justify it, not planning area 2, correct?
I think that's
yes.
Adam, do you agree?
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, do you agree that that's what they said, though? That's the problem.
Well, because I am hesitant to file comments that say, here's what MISO means, because I don't think we need to characterize what MISO means. I think we can maybe say, here's what we understand MISO to mean, and this is certainly what we expect. But if MISO's filing isn't clear, I'm wondering if it might be, and this might be an OMS task, to ask them to file something that's more clear.
Right.
Well, that's kind of what the comments, as they were written late last night, kind of tee up the issue as if this is what the motion for consideration means, then we can support it. Yeah. But if it means something else, we can't support it, and it needs to be rejected.
I think it became really clear during the discussion that Adam had discovered some areas where certainly both lawyers and non-lawyers were confused by the language, and to have confusing language when it can be clear in a tariff is just the wrong way to go. So MISO kept saying, the lady on the phone kept saying, well, what we really mean is this, and perhaps I've used the wrong term here.
Jennifer
I don't think so. Wasn't it Marie?
No, it was Jennifer.
Was it Jennifer? Okay.
Yeah.
And she was very nice about it, but it needs to say what they intend. Adam had some very probing questions, and I think had a lot of agreement with his concerns.
So it is our understanding that MISO intends
To not use
to not use the second
benefits
planning
to
area's
justify.
benefits to justify Portfolio 1. But,
Yes, but
they will be
that
used
is not
to
crystal
justify a
clear.
combined portfolio?
I'm sorry, Adam, you didn't come through it clearly.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna try. This is probably what you pay me for, so I need to make sure I do a good job about this. The idea of the combined portfolio would be including both Portfolio 1, which is built which was intended solely for the benefit of the northern area, the MISO Classic, and then also if they identify projects in the future that could be for the benefit of both MISO Classic and Entergy, where Entergy has a positive benefit cost ratio, taking all of the MVPs from both Portfolio 1 and Portfolio 2 into account, and none of the zones in MISO Classic are made worse off from moving from just Portfolio 1 to a combined Portfolio 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's equally as confusing.
And explaining that very
think I
clearly is,
Well, here's my question though. The request for clarification, MISO's document, their pleading refers to MVP Portfolio 2, which would be those projects that are planned during the transmission period that are for both planning areas. And then they refer to a combined portfolio, which is 1 and 2. I wasn't clear how the Portfolio 2 is different from the combined portfolio.
You're making me feel better that I couldn't figure it out either without talking to them about it. Here's how they explain it to me. So they have this cost benefit test to figure out whether or not MISO or whether or not Entergy is going to pay for Portfolio 1. So if that cost benefit test is failed, like let's say they cannot find projects that make it where Entergy has a positive benefit cost ratio, paying for both Portfolio 1 and a theoretical Portfolio 2, then there still could exist an MVP portfolio built during the transition period that would not create a combined portfolio, but instead be an entirely different set of multi-value projects where both Entergy and MISO Classic would be paying, the full load ratio share for those projects starting on day 1. So there would not be a combined portfolio because the only way you can have a combined portfolio is to pass the benefit cost test.
So how's I still don't see how the combined portfolio is different from a Portfolio 2.
So, and let me try here. So what they're saying is in this case is sometimes the parts are greater than the whole. So if you combine those two portfolios, or combine Portfolio 1 and Portfolio 2 into a single combined, you may not meet some of the cost benefit tests.
You may not meet Entergy's cost benefit test, and you may not make it where every zone in MISO is better off by adding the second portfolio.
But if you do Portfolio 1 plus Portfolio 2, you might then meet them.
Yes, you
taken as separate entities added together rather than a combination.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to make sure I answer your question properly. The second portfolio in the call yesterday, MISO essentially said shouldn't be thought of as MVP for Portfolio 2, pardon me. It should just be thought of as a collection of projects that might meet the combined, portfolio definition.
But they call it MVP Portfolio 2.
and they admitted that they
Yeah.
mislabeled it MVP Portfolio
wrong.
2, so it's wrong.
Okay, all right. Well,
That makes
that makes
okay,
sense.
well, then that-
So there is no
that
such
helps
thing
us.
as an MVP Portfolio 2.
That's
It's
correct.
other
Well, there-
MVP projects.
Yeah,
It should
there
have
could be
another-
other MVP. There could, if the cost benefit test is failed, there could be I'll just call it a separate MVP portfolio that is identified and approved during the transition period where everybody would pay for it, just as if, both Entergy and MISO Classic are just part of one region and justified using both Entergy and MISO Classic benefits.
I see. Well, that
But
makes
that would
sense.
be entirely separate.
If you're saying then essentially that the MVP portfolio 2 that's referenced in their document actually doesn't exist and should have
Right.
been called something else,
Right. That helps.
sounds like a supplemental tweeting by MISO.
It sounds like that they have some splaining to do, yes.
Well, I think what you said initially made sense to me, that our comments, and I'm assuming these will be OMS comments too, are that here's what we understand MISO to mean, even though that's not what their document says. And if that is in fact what they mean, we're cool with this. If that is not what they mean, then we're not. And here's what it, and our understanding of what we thought they meant is what we would prefer, and maybe they should go back and file something different.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, there's not. I mean, we're still working on this. It's going to go out probably this afternoon to the OMS work group, and hopefully wiser minds than I, who have not been immersed in this process and therefore almost too close to it to know whether or not it makes sense, can tell me whether or not it makes sense. So I guess what I'm looking for you all today is an endorsement to kind of continue working on this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And frankly, I mean, are we gonna? When's the next OMS board meeting?
Next OMS board meeting is January 17th next week, so we'd really have to kind of put this on the fast track and kind of try to get this nailed down by the end of the week or the start of next week, so we can get it to OMS commissioners for consideration either way. May I also request that we would bring this back to you next week in a finished form, and I guess at that point in time I would request that if OMS can't muster the votes to submit this, that I would ask that the Missouri Commission would like to submit it as a separate pleading.
When the OMS meeting is on the 17th,
I believe so, yes.
and
We've gotten an extension of time to file till what, Adam? The
21st.
I want to say it's the 20th or the 21st, though I do not have that document in front of me as to when Bert gave us extra time to respond to MISO's motion for reconsideration.
No, I asked Rob Burnson about the deadline. It's the 21st, but it's a holiday, so it'll be the 22nd. So,
Oh, okay.
and OMS is going to need to know by the 17th whether we're voting to approve these or not.
Adam has a draft to me that I will be working on today and get out as soon as possible to the
I mean,
commission.
substantively, I think we should support what you're proposing.
And there's nothing that says that on the 16th we can't say that we will file either OMS comments or, if necessary, Missouri-specific comments.
Yeah.
Because substantively, if OMS doesn't agree to file those, then we'll just condition our vote on filing comments. That if OMS doesn't, then we'll file them on our own. We can do that on the 16th.
But we'll have to do it on the 16th because we won't have another opportunity before the comments are due.
Okay.
Sounds good.
'Cause,
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I theoretically we could have a 5-minute special meeting if we need to, but I think that and honestly, for this, get us as close to final as you can. Our vote can be conditioned based on the substance of the comments rather than any particular wordsmithing. So I think on the 16th, it's not you should submit it for the 16th. Commissioners should be ready to vote on it on the 16th, and we'll just hope that the form is okay, but just do what you can to get it to us so that
Sure.
we're prepared for
I
the
will.
OMS meeting, and then we're also prepared if that isn't voted on or incorporated in the OMS comments that we file separately.
Okay.
Yeah, I would also say that hopefully it will be done, because I would prefer not to send something half-baked to all the OMS commissioners. So
Yeah.
by the time it's going to be circulated and to the OMS commissioners for a vote, hopefully it's going to be done. So hopefully we won't have to ask you for a here's kind of what the substance is, but hopefully we can get it to you finished.
Perfect. All right. Any other questions?
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Leo.
With all due respect. Thanks. He may hang up. because I don't know if there's anything else going on, so. We don't have a
think
point, so.
he's-
Did he hang up?
Adam,
Adam, you
still
gone?
on? All right,
Yeah.
cut off. All right, let's move on to scheduling real quick before we go into before we entertain a motion for closed session. Obviously, we've got the commissioners only retreat coming up. January 14th, the offices are technically closed for the inauguration. Cole County State offices are closed, and there will be parades and swearing-ins and all kinds of stuff going on.
My son is the J band is playing in the inauguration parade. So
Excellent. So we'll come see Commissioner Jarrett's son in the parade and cheer.
And I think the weather is supposed to be
Supposed to be fairly nice.
like
this.
30s at
35.
least
Oh, it's supposed to be
in the
cool,
morning,
cooler.
but then
Better than
hopefully warming. I didn't see that far ahead yet, but unlike some inaugurations where it's 10 below zero, and
Have to be
so
inside.
that'll be a good thing for the,
Yeah.
especially for the brass players in the band.
Yeah, exactly. Don't want those freezing to the lips.
We will have regularly scheduled on January 16th agenda. I may ask that be moved up a little bit. I am probably going to be here in the office, but I have to go out for an ice pick meeting that evening. So I may ask to move it till 9. But I'll let you guys know. But just check to see if that would be a problem for anybody. The 21st is a holiday. It's Martin Luther King Day. And then we will have the 23rd, which Commissioner Kenny had requested to move up slightly, which we will move to 9 o'clock, because for the State of the Judiciary, we'll plan on moving it to 9 o'clock. If agenda looks like it's going to be full, that we won't be able to get it done, because that's at 10, right? State of Judiciary, is that at 10 or 10:30, do you know?
It is at 10.
It's at 10. So if it looks like we're not going to be able to get that done in an hour or 45 minutes, we'll move it up maybe to even 8:30, if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah.
So that we can make accommodations for the State of the Judiciary. And then January 30th. Plan on having an agenda, and then we get into the neighborhood winter meetings the following week, and we'll just have to see whether we're going to move that farther out past the neighborhood winter meetings.
And Mr. Chairman, we are trying to put together a USB meeting, maybe for later this month. It may be February. It may be a bigger meeting, so we may have to push it in February, but
Okay.
we're trying to get everything pulled together for that.
Great. All right. Well, just let us know. We will put it on. All right. I will now entertain a motion to close under 610.021 subsections 1, 3, and/or 13 to discuss litigation and personnel.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. For the first part of this, advisors can stay in. Actually, for most of this, probably, except for the very last piece. We'll shut everything.